She sat alone in the corner of the schoolyard, clutching her books like a shield. The wind tugged at her hair, but she didn't move. Her eyes were red, her lip bleeding slightly, and the laughter from across the yard was still echoing. 3 boys stood there, smirking, tossing her backpack between them like it was a game. She was new, quiet, and different, and that was all the reason they needed. But what none of them noticed was the man sitting in an old pickup truck across the street, sipping from a coffee mug. His name was Jack Turner, a single dad, a mechanic, and a veteran who had seen more in war than most could imagine. He was there every afternoon, waiting for his 10-year-old son, Liam, to finish school. But today, his attention wasn't on the clock or his phone, it was on that little girl being cornered by bullies. Jack watched for a moment, his jaw tightening. He'd seen cruelty before, on battlefields, in the faces of broken men, and now, heartbreakingly, in children who should have known better. He set his coffee down slowly, stepped out of his truck, and started walking toward them. The boys didn't notice him at first. They were too busy mocking the girl's accent, calling her weird for the way she spoke. The girl, Emma, had just moved from another town after her mother's passing. Her father, a truck driver, worked long hours, leaving her often alone. She was shy, gentle, and never fought back. When Jack reached the school gate, he spoke, calm, steady, but with a weight that made everyone freeze. "Is that how you boys were raised? Picking on someone smaller than you?" The laughter stopped immediately. One of the boys tried to laugh it off, saying, "We were just joking, sir." "Looks like she's not laughing," Jack said. His eyes were cold now, the kind of look that made even grown men uneasy. One of the teachers noticed the commotion and hurried over, but Jack raised a hand. "It's all right, I've got it handled." His voice carried quiet authority, the kind of tone you don't argue with. He knelt beside Emma, gently handing her backpack back. "You okay, sweetheart?" he asked softly. She nodded, eyes full of tears she was too proud to let fall. "Thank you," she whispered. Jack looked back at the boys. "You see that girl? One day, you'll wish someone stood up for you the way she deserves someone now. Remember that." The boys shuffled away, heads down, and the teacher, now nearby, looked at Jack with recognition. "Mr. Turner," she said, "you didn't have to get involved." Jack interrupted quietly, "If I didn't, who would?" That night, Emma's father came to thank Jack in person. Word had spread fast, not just about what he did, but who he was. Jack wasn't just a mechanic. Years ago, he was known as Sergeant Jack Turner, a decorated Army Ranger who saved his unit from an ambush overseas. He'd left the service after losing his wife and was raising Liam alone, living a simple, quiet life. Emma's father, Tom, looked humbled. "She told me what you did. I owe you." Jack shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. Just be there for her. That's what she needs." But fate had more in store. A week later, the same bullies cornered Emma again, this time, after school in the park. Jack wasn't there, but Liam was. He saw them push her, and though he was smaller, he stood in front of her like his father had done. "My dad says real men don't hurt people," Liam said bravely. "You want to fight? Fight me." The boys laughed, but before they could lay a hand on him, Jack appeared from behind, his deep voice cutting through the air. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." They turned, pale-faced. Jack didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just stood there, calm, steady, and terrifying in his silence. One of the boys muttered an apology, and they all ran. Jack turned to Liam. "You okay, buddy?" Liam nodded. "I did what you would have done, Dad." Jack smiled proudly, his eyes glistening. "Yeah, you did. You stood up for what's right. That's what makes you strong." Over the next few weeks, something changed in that small town. Parents started talking more to their kids about kindness. The school held assemblies about empathy and respect. And Emma, once the lonely new girl, started smiling again, especially when she sat beside Liam in class. Months later, during a school event for Veterans Day, the principal invited Jack to speak. He hadn't expected that, he didn't like attention. But when he stood before the students and parents, his voice carried quiet strength. "Heroes aren't the ones with medals or uniforms," he said, glancing at Emma and Liam in the front row. "They're the ones who choose to do what's right when nobody's watching. Every one of you can be that person. And trust me, the world needs more of them." The room fell silent, some eyes wet, others inspired. Emma's father stood, clapping first, then the rest followed until the entire hall echoed with applause. Jack didn't smile for the praise, he smiled because he saw hope in those young faces. Later that day, as Jack and Liam walked home, Emma ran up and handed Jack a small, hand-drawn card. On it, in a child's handwriting, were the words, "Thank you for being my hero." Jack's throat tightened. He bent down and hugged her gently. "You just keep being brave, Emma. That's all the thanks I need." The camera pans out, the sun setting behind them, the music swelling with emotion. Jack lifts Liam into the truck, gives Emma a wave, and drives off, another ordinary man hiding an extraordinary heart. And as the video fades to black, a narrator's voice closes softly. Sometimes, heroes don't wear capes or uniforms. They wear oil-stained jackets, carry coffee mugs, and show up when the world needs them most. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs a reminder, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that celebrate real courage, real kindness, and the power of doing what